Hey everyone, Hydra here, and this is a book actually. This is Marvel Legion of Monsters. The comic shop didn't have anything I wanted the day I was down there, and I picked this up. So I was desperately looking for something to buy. Ended up grabbing this. Terror has never looked as good as in these frightening fables. This was $25, which really honestly isn't bad for a Marvel book, especially with this much content. I think one reason why it was so cheap, though, is because about half the book is pretty weak. I'd say the first 4 stories, 2 of them are, I'll talk about that in a second. But quality of the book is, of course, pretty solid. This is what the cover looks like without the slip on, which I actually kind of like, that just blank style with the words. Maybe a light indented picture or something like that is cool too, but for the most part, that's fine. The cover is by Greg Land, so if you get bored, you can always search the internet and see which pictures he traced to do this. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look inside at what this has got to offer. Now, I legitimately just thought this was going to be a whole bunch of horror stories. I didn't actually realize that 70s Marvel monsters, are usually presented as superheroes, especially when most of these are written, and not actually bad guys. So, horror's kind of a misnomer in this situation, but it's still quite good. A real quick cover of what we can look for inside. So we start off with Werewolf by Night. That was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. Penciler was Greg Land. Inkers Jay Leishton? I don't know. Leishton. Writer was Mike Carey. Then we have Monster of Frankenstein. To Be a Monster. Writer and artist Scotty Young. That one wasn't bad. I didn't mind that one at all. Then we have Man Thing by Charles Houston. Klaus Janson on art. That was fantastic. I love Klaus Janson's art. The dude's pretty freaking talented, and he's got a very interesting style to look at. The story was kind of, it was a trip, to be fair, but it's worth reading just to read it. And then we got Simon Garth, Zombie, Morgamore, by Ted McKeever and Chris Chuckry. Pretty sure that one was a little boring. When I get to it, I'll remember it better. Then we have Satana and the Electric Pentacle by Robin Firth, artist Kalman and Drasovsky. So, Satana's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I would give it a solid average, right? And then we got Living Mummy, Must Die / Eat Soul. This is by Jonathan Hickman. That sucked. Oh man. I'm pretty sure L. John was trying to go with some sort of reinventing the style or doing something unique that people would talk about in the future. And it was bad. The lettering was bad. The art was bad. The writing was bad. The story was bad. Whoever came up with this book and decided, let's put in a Jonathan Hickman story, should not have picked Living Mummy. The dude's got talent. That story sucked ass. Alright, and then we got Morbius. The writer was Brendan Cahill and artist Michael Gaydos. I'm sorry, Michael. Morbius wasn't terrible. Dracula and Lilith wasn't very good. Monster of Frankenstein was fantastic. This is where the old stuff starts, and honestly, this is why you should buy the book. These old stories that are in here that are all from the 70s, holy shit, are they good. So much better than this fucking modern day bullshit up here. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of them. I'll continue a little bit. So we got our covers. All the covers pretty much, for those new ones at least, are all by Greg Land. I think that maybe this book was actually a Greg Land book, and they just decided to call it a Monsters thing since this name doesn't quite pack the selling power of some other artists. But this one's a pretty interesting story. It's basically a chick who's a werewolf. And she's trying to basically survive as these werewolf hunters are trying to eliminate everything. The art was good. Greg Land did a great job. The story was good. I actually enjoyed this one. This was a good starting story for the book. After that, we have To Be a Monster. The art in this was kind of janky. There's actually some music videos on YouTube that use a very similar art style. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy works on them. The story itself was not bad. Not bad at all. But, yeah, the story was good. The art was just a little janky, but it does kind of fit for what's going on, so I wasn't hugely disappointed or anything. Then we got this fucked up Man-Thing story. Holy shit, is it fucked up. This chick basically gets a job working for this place by the swamp. The dude who owns the company hates the swamp and everything about it. And while she's working there, they throw this big dinner party, right? They invite her, and she's working outside. I don't know why she's working in the garden at night outside. I think it's to, like, get rid of some beetles. Yeah, it's to get rid of these beetles that are a big issue. Well, she looks inside to see the dinner party they're throwing, and all these rich people are eating motherfucking Man-Thing. Because he keeps regenerating, and they're like ideas that once they can finally finish him off, they'll have full control of the swamp. It's pretty ridiculous, but it's good. And then she basically helps Man-Thing come back to life, and he freaking manipulates basically all of him inside of these people, and they just explode as he rips himself out of their guts. That was pretty cool. Then we got Mogamore. We got Quesadilla Editor-in-Chief. Oh, joy. A Simon Garth zombie story by Ted McKeever. I'm not familiar with Simon Garth. I didn't particularly like this zombie story either. I take that back. This was actually kind of funny. Interesting, and this is my first real experience with this character. I did kind of like it. It was kind of funny. And the slutty chick that's clearly based off the girl from Dawn of the Dead was kind of funny. So yeah, this story wasn't bad. I'd say this is well worth reading. Then we get Satana, which I really like the concept behind it. Some of the art was good. The execution wasn't the greatest, though. Sometimes Satana kind of looks like a trans. Like, right here, she's pretty smoking hot, but then she's got these super narrow hips. And this, like, Norwegian farmer jawline. But other times she looks, oh yeah, right there too. That's stunning and brave. Yeah, and the girl that captures her is just bleh. But it's not bad, and I'm pretty sure that it actually, if I understood the ending right, Satana basically turns that chick into a sex slave, which was kind of a shocker. Kind of a shocker. Yeah. Turns her and her brother into sex slaves. It's pretty interesting. Okay, I would call this story okay. If the art was better, then it would have been a good. But the art was a little distracting in some parts. This motherfucking story right here, though, by Jonathan Hickman, God, this should be burned from the annals of Marvel's history forever. Look at this. This is just nonsense. It's like random. It's like he took a book about Egypt and then just tried turning it into a work of fiction. I don't like it at all. And like, I'm not even gonna get into it. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. We got Half-Life, a Morbius tale. This is really a big allegory for drug use and addiction. It's not really even an allegory. It's just like a blatant, heavy-handed story about drug addiction. Kind of stupid, really. Maybe it's because growing up around that stuff, but this didn't really do anything for me, and I thought it was pretty boring and lame. Someone may like it, though. Then we got Biting Back. Writer C.B. Cebulski, penciler David Finch. This is the best story out of all the new ones. Yeah, it's better than The Werewolf, which is saying something because C.B. Sapolsky is not a good writer. He's very, very average. That's just why he had to use a pen name for so long. That's right, CB. I see you. David Finch, on the other hand, he's a fantastic artist, especially when he's putting his time into things. And some of these glamour shots, look. Oh, Lilith. She is so fine. And we got this great shot of Dracula. Like, put Finch on more Lilith and Dracula books is what I have to say about this story. Give him a nice writer. Look at that. She's perfect. Give Finch more Lilith. We all deserve this. But there's only that one story. Then we get into the old stuff. And this is really the real reason to buy this. All these old stories are absolutely fantastic. Way better than anything that's getting printed right now. You get 2 in black and white that are very, very good. Then you get this Legion of Monsters story that was very interesting. The Legion of Monsters is pretty cool. You got Man-Thing, Morbius, Werewolf, and Ghost Rider. And Ghost Rider is the only one that's like can control whether or not he's a monster. So it's really an interesting play on characters here. And then after that, we have the story, the 3-part story, Enter the Scarecrow. Actually, Enter the Scarecrow and a couple other ones. This was when Marv Wolfman was editor in Marvel. It's written by Scott Edelman. 3 different artists, but they all very, very consistent looking. And holy shit, is this good. Scarecrow as a hero is really, really, really interesting. There's an old god that's trapped in a painting. They painted Scarecrow's portrait over the top of it, and he works as basically an eternal guardian, preventing this evil god from escaping. So when that evil god's cult tries to steal the painting, he comes out and dispenses justice. It's very good. I like it. It's a shame that they don't print more of these 70s books. I know they have a lot of them in the True Believer stuff that you can get for like $1. If you see any of those, pick them up. They're well worth $1. Because chances are you won't be able to find the actual originals for any affordable price. But anyway, I've been taking this video way longer than I meant to. Thanks for watching. Build quality on the book is great. Interior stuff, I mean, for $25, the old stories and the Dracula Lilith one are kind of worth it. You're only getting like 5 kind of stories, but at the same time, it's $25. It's a lot of money for a picture book. So, I'll leave this one up to you. I really, 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 really enjoyed the end, though. Thanks for watching. Hail Hydra, baby.